Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama, touchdown run!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Uber dashed or whatever you call it now. So door dashed. All right, here we go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad that you joined us here on this Saturday morning. And again, a lot to talk about here in the next couple of hours. Obviously, college heavy as the college football playoffs are now in the semifinal round. We'll have a lot to take on that and a lot to give on that, our takes on that. So you can comment away on YouTube and Facebook. We always enjoy that. Good to see both of you this morning. I mean, it's obvious that we'll start, like Randy said, we normally talk about high school in the first hour, and we will talk maybe a little bit this morning here and there. There were some all-star games that have been played. We might go down that rabbit hole, but college football is front and center, and that's what we've been talking about a long time, at least over the last couple of months, the way this thing is structured. And we'll just start, guys. Up until this point, college football playoff analysis for both of you. All the teams that got the automatic bye, and if you want to look at conference champions, if you want to group all that in there together, they all went they're 0-5. And we wanted to know if how this bye week would work. Would it help teams? Would it hurt teams? Also heard another point yesterday. What good does it do to get a bye when you don't get a home playoff game? I mean, if you're going to go play in a neutral site, what was the benefit of getting a bye? I mean, the team in the first round is the one that benefited of getting a home game. So there's a lot of things that are iffy, and I guess you want to say screwed up about the college football playoff that we're learning about as we go along. So I'll start with you, Randy, let you give your take. We'll work around the room.
Well, the first thought I had, and I'll kick it down to Luke with this, is watching Arizona State. I thought it was about to be a runaway game in the early going, and Luke's son there working the media side for Arizona State. So Luke went over to the ball game, and next thing you know, Arizona State's kind of bulled their way back into that thing, and got a great running back that was very physical, that made plays all over the field, whether it be throwing the ball, catching the ball, and running the ball. And Arizona State did what they've done pretty much a majority of the year this year and got back in the ball game. And the reason that I bring that up is my expectation was very low for Arizona State and anyone outside of the SEC coming into this thing, except for, say, Ohio State. And I've been kind of bullish on Penn State for a majority of the year, just the way they play defense. And I think Franklin's one of the best coaches in college football. But my takeaway now is, first off, if you go up north and play and you're a Southern team, it's going to be difficult. And, you know, my Northern friends that I've talked to this year have asked for that, and we're very much looking forward to getting some of our SEC and Southern teams up north to have to play in some grueling conditions. And none of those seem to work out for the SEC. But even on neutral site fields, the Notre Dames of the world, the Penn States of the world, that Alabama and Georgia have been beating their brains in for the last 15 years, anytime they match up with someone like Michigan State and Notre Dame, or just keep going down the list of games that have gotten away from teams outside of the SEC. That's not the case anymore. I don't know if it's the transfer portal. I don't know if it's NIL that's closing the gap. I don't know what it is. All I know is you have to state facts, and the facts have been that Alabama and Georgia have carried the SEC for 15 years. And we look really strong because of how strong they've been in championship environments. But the rest of us have been mediocre for that entire stretch, outside of a year or two there. But now it feels like Alabama's coming back to the fray, and Georgia offensively was not very good this year. They had moments where they couldn't do anything. Quarterback play, even when they go to Stockton, not very good the other night. But, you know, even with their starter, the majority of the year they struggled offensively. So I thought both of those teams coming back to the phrase more of the storyline than anything that's going on, because if you add them back in the mix playing the way that they have been, we'd be a totally different show this morning talking about how strong the SEC is and just totally disassociating ourselves with how Auburn and other teams in the SEC are playing, Luke.
Well, I think several things can be true. I think that, number one, the SEC did not perform well, and I think it is true the SEC might be down a little. I've seen Dave Portnoy from Barstool say things like, the SEC is dead. Give me a break. Come on, dude. I mean, that is so lazy and shock jock. And he's brilliant. That's why he's made $1 gazillion doing what he's doing. I mean, every pizza he takes is, like this huge deal and then really not all pizzas are going to be awesome. It's okay. We all understand that. That's the way he operates, and it's great. It works for him. But the SEC may be a little bit down this year. But this national narrative from Nicole Auerbach and all these other folks that I've been listening to, maybe Indiana did deserve it. Maybe SMU did. Maybe blah, blah, blah. First of all, I think you could also say the seeding was so bad and so stupid in this new playoff that we've got to change that immediately. It's just dumb. And do you think that, what if Tennessee had gotten to play at home? What if they had gotten the 8 seed versus Ohio State getting the 9 seed? I'd be willing to bet Tennessee would have at least given them a much better fight, if not win it. What if Tennessee had gotten to play Indiana instead of having to travel to Columbus? Georgia, everybody just thinks, oh, here's Notre Dame now. They're back on the national scene. Georgia's back to earth. Well, are we just glossing over that Georgia had to play with their backup quarterback? We're just not going to even talk about that? Like it's not a big deal? It's a big deal. And Texas is still in it. Yeah, I know they just got in the SEC, but they're in the SEC now. Oregon just got in the Big Ten, and nobody was saying boo about that when they got the number 1 seed. I just think this tournament had a lot of flaws, a lot of flaws. I have no problem saying the SEC is down a little bit too. There's no doubt about that. As far as Alabama and Georgia carrying it, that is very true, with maybe the glaring exception of LSU 2019 and maybe I guess if you just want to go the last 10 years or something, that's really the only one. I don't even know if another SEC team's even made the playoffs. That's outside of those three. Am I wrong? I mean, Texas made it last year as a Big 12 member. But I think that I've also seen some of the talk of Brandon Walker, who's also with Barstool, I think, said something like, well, is it any coincidence that all these other teams have come up now that NIL is legal and the SEC has been caught up to? I'm like, what do you think, Ohio State? I mean, if you believe everybody was paying, and we all kind of do to an extent, but if you believe that was so prevalent, you don't think Ohio State was doing it? You just think they're just good and everything's pure and just over there? Just quit talking about that.
Well,
it's so dumb to me.
There's a national bias against the SEC because they have been so dominant for so long. So everybody's been waiting for a crack in the armor. And, we have been a massively strong conference. We have the best players in the country, top to bottom. This is where everybody wants to play. And now that things have kind of evened out this year and with the new 12-team playoff, all of those guys that you just mentioned, the national pundits, are having their take and they're getting their shot. They're getting
What's
their
evened
shot
out,
in.
Brett? What's evened out is this. Think about it. It's not that Notre Dame, and I'm using Notre Dame as an example because this is another point. Everybody wants to find one thing that's changed everything. And really, it's a whole bunch of stuff. Notre Dame has like 3 or 4 guys that probably would have gone pro and tested the waters as 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks. But instead, they come back because they are eligible to get NIL, and they probably make a tiny bit more, if not a lot more, than what they would have made had they gone pro. So now they get some experience back. It's not that they bought new guys. It's that they get to keep some of their guys. That's what helped Notre Dame the most. And then somebody else said, well, it's the transfer portal changing everything. Well, I mean, for Ohio State, I guess, they got a new quarterback, they got a new running back. They got a new center. They got they got Caleb Downs. They got some big players, but they also went out and did get probably the best freshman in the country in Jeremiah Smith. He's unreal. For all the talk we had about Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith's better. That's hard for me to say, but it's true. He's sick. Notre Dame, they had a transfer quarterback too. Everybody says, well, Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman didn't really want to tamper with the portal very much. I love Marcus Freeman, but when you go get a quarterback, you're deep in the portal because that's the only position that matters. That's it. That's the number one position in all sports.
Well, let's go ahead and go to break. And for TV and radio, we'll keep this discussion going. I've got a good point. Justin just brought this up, but I said it yesterday on our podcast in the morning. So I'll get your take on that, guys, as well. So up against our first break for TV and radio. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We are your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Located in the heart of Alabama, Lake Martin is a destination of tasty delights.
Lots of butter.
There's no shortage of culinary genius.
Don't tell my secrets.
From mom and pops
Everyone feels like family.
to lakeside dining.
We serve food, but we try to do it with purpose.
Pour it straight in the ear.
I'm Trey Foshi,
I'm a chef now.
and I'm going to try them all.
Dude, I can do this all day.
Because there's one thing locals around here know. Lake Martin's got bite.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. And look, we kept this discussion going on social media, so we want to bring this back to the fold. Look, I brought this up. Randy, you gave your take. Luke, you're giving your take on it. I think I agree, first of all, with Luke at the beginning of the show saying I think this playoff system had some flaws. I did bring up that Ohio State would not be in this thing if you were to go back to last year. And look, and here's been my problem with the 4-team playoff and back when you had a BCS. man, it is so hard. You're going to play a game sometimes where it doesn't work out for you at the end. And I'm not an Ohio State fan by any stretch, but they lost on the road to Oregon, who's been number one pretty much all year. At the very end, because Will Howard slid a little bit late, they were in field goal range. They were about to kick a field goal. So they lost on the road. They didn't lose again until they played their rival at home. Now, I know Ryan Day's caught hell about it, and he can't beat Michigan, whatever. I understand that. But they lost, and it was ugly. And at that time, everybody said, ooh, Ohio State, man, they're tailing off. Well, they've been the best team in the playoff. I mean, and they have been. And if you look at it from a perspective of how we operate in human society out here, we're asking a football program with 85-plus players and a staff to be perfect for 13 straight weeks.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not, Brett.
You were in the old system.
No, you weren't.
You were in the old system.
Justin points it out right here. Saban only went undefeated twice. You can lose a game. You could lose a game. And look, that's fine. I mean, Alabama lost a game last year and made the playoffs. Now, people say Florida State should have gotten in, but we all know Florida State had a quarterback problem, and it was tremendous. It wasn't like they just lost their back.
Well, who would have been the 14 playoff this year if we were basing it on that?
I got to think. It would have been Georgia, who, won the SEC. They had 2 losses, by the way.
Okay, I mean, yeah, here we go. I mean, right out of the gate.
What I'm saying, that's my point to your thing. You said you had to be perfect. They lost 2 games.
But in the old era, I mean, the BCS, I know, old BCS era.
Oh, they would have been out.
That's right. So, and then we advanced to 4 teams. I think what I'm saying is we're slowly saying and giving a case for why we have upped it to 12 teams.
But no, and I'm telling you that we also found out the first 4 games were non-competitive. And we've also found out that the second round games, we're not sure if a bye is good for anybody or not. Now, it may all be coincidental. It may be coincidental. So, I mean, you do need a bigger sample size. But I'm with you. Why would I want to buy? I don't want to buy. If you're going to do this, let's let the bye teams also get a home game. That's the best way to do it if you're going to do it this way. But I think we found out the first round games were non-competitive. Everybody had a hissy fit that Alabama or South Carolina or Ole Miss even thought about getting in the playoffs with 3 losses. Well, we let Clemson in, but they won the ACC. But the ACC sucks. We're seeing that in the bowl system. Even though I don't agree with using that all the time, ACC's getting hammered in every bowl game, and they got hammered in the playoffs. So what I'm saying is it has all these flaws. I just don't need anybody telling me, see how much better this is? No, this has as many flaws, if not more, than what we had before. And I've hated even in the basketball terminology when people say, yeah, but they're hot now. See, that we wouldn't have this magical run. And I'm like, because see, college football is the only sport where all year long you had to be on your toes. Basketball, you don't have to be on your toes.
Well, what's the excuse for Oregon being number 1 and so dominant all year and got their doors blown? I mean, you just don't know.
That may be the bye week thing. Thing. Maybe. I'm not saying it's an excuse.
Right.
And frankly, they only beat Ohio State by, 1 or 2 points in the first time? So they're pretty close as it was. And I would argue that because, see, Oregon's had to deal with the pressure. Now they get in, they're the only undefeated team in this thing. They've got this heavy crown on their head like, okay, now you got to go all the way through it undefeated. Ohio State's already relieved the valve of pressure of losing a game. They can go in there sort of willy-nilly. And they went in there and kicked Oregon's ass. I give them credit. I do. But what I'm saying is, why is it so important? Glenn Toller says, don't lose late. Why is losing late better than losing early? I've never understood that. If we want the regular season to matter, quit telling me the regular season matters the same when you say things like don't lose late.
Randy, your take during the break.
First off, the NCAA couldn't have gone any better than it has, was my take during the break. The second take I had, because I was one of the main ones out there, really touting what Luke was saying and the SEC was saying about our teams deserve to be in outside of some others if strength of schedule is going to be important. And we need to know what is considered important by the committee. But my other point was the more that you talk, the more that your fight for Alabama and others to get in, get head scratching as this thing plays out. Because there's other teams outside of the SEC that are equal to us, Luke. And the problem I have with Alabama, the further I get, Glenn's point is valid when you go on the road to Oklahoma and score 3 points. less than a month ago.
I couldn't agree more.
Very
and Randy,
valid.
I said it over and over again.
Now, if you go over there
and
lose 35-34 or something on a late field goal, that's different. When you go over there and score 3 points, and then you see what Alabama did in the bowl game. I mean, that wasn't. Now they beat Auburn between, which were pitiful. That doesn't have. I mean, that carries no weight to beat Auburn at this point. But to go on the road and beat Oklahoma, and to lose to Oklahoma the way that Alabama did, you can't argue it as hard as everyone in that crimson color argued. You and everybody else did for a long time, Luke.
But Randy, all we've said is you're going to let an undeserving team in. If you're asking me, again, for the
Who's
future,
deserving?
Nobody. I mean, about 4 teams, and we let 12 in. That's my point.
But we're not going to go back the opposite direction.
I agree.
So that's over. So it's kind of like this NIL talk that Brett and I have all the time, every day. It's like, I get it, Brett. We can sit on here for another 2 hours every day if you choose to. But until some leadership steps up that's going to change the way that this is administered, then we're just wasting time talking about it. And you and others are wasting time talking about it, not liking the 12-team playoff. It's not going backwards.
I've accepted the 12-team playoff. Randy, you're asking me, and you keep saying the term fighting. I wasn't fighting for Alabama to get in. I said I would have put Alabama and I said this. I mean, I said it on this. I said it on this show a bunch. I would have put South Carolina, Ole Miss, or Alabama, or Miami, or BYU. BYU looked good in the bowl game. If we're going to give somebody credit for a meaningless bowl game, let's give them credit. I would have put any of them over some of those, over SMU or Clemson, or, I mean, clearly to me. And I clearly wouldn't have put Boise as a bye team. I mean, I just think that's so dumb. And that's where I'm like, okay, y'all want me to accept the 12-team playoff. I accept it. Can we not have dumb, moronic rules like let Boise get a bye?
I think the biggest flaw of the whole system as we get ready to go to our next break on TV and radio is the seeding. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Oregon deserved a better seed. I guess not better seed. They were the number 1 seed, but they had to play the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee. And a better path. A better path. That's right. And then some of these other teams. But again, somebody's going to have that complaint every year, I think. And now people want more teams. And I'm not for that. But as soon as we get to 12, we ain't even gotten the 12-team playoff finished, and everybody's wanting 4 more. I'm with both of you on a couple of points. I think you both make valid points that, yeah, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say some of these teams need to be in when your team wasn't as good and you were trying to argue for that. But then you also look at it. It's not a coincidence that some of these things worked out the way they did. And I know you can look at Indiana. Okay, Indiana, maybe that loss wasn't as bad as everybody thought, but then Notre Dame moved on to play a team without a starting quarterback in Georgia. I mean, and they only had 90 yards passing, but they still won the football game. You can break all this stuff down 6 ways to Sunday, and you can needle it all together. But I think there's some good elements. I definitely think there's some bad elements, and it needs to be reevaluated. And I think the point that both of y'all brought up a few weeks ago about the schedule is very valid. We need to know what the committee wants. Do we need to play a tougher schedule or not? You know, we all need to know how to play by the rules. And if you give us the rules, then we don't have anything to complain about at the end. All right, up against the break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious 1-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Tried to save all the college football myself.
Here we go. Welcome back, everyone, to the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Look, it's clear as the nose on our faces that we've, and I say we, because I guess we group everybody into this, all the people that love college football, and I think the three of us love that sport as much as anybody, and we're all exhausted from this. I mean, we have taken the best sport on earth and figured out a way to screw it up, and every time we try to go fix it, it gets worse, and it's because we're operating with no rules or guidelines. And this is a prime example. If anybody wants to use this as a thesis or some type of research project in school, don't operate your organization or your life like the NCAA operates intercollegiate athletics. You have to have laws and regulations in society to be able to live. You can't just go out here free willy-nilly and do whatever the hell you want to do.
Brett, you want to talk about society? Let me give you, again, I'm not trying to get too heavy. I got two examples. Choose the lesser or choose the one you like the most. Number one, if you're a teenager, if you're 18 years old and you have a little budding pimple, and you go to pop that sucker, well, sometimes pimples aren't all created equal. That thing may turn red and black and nasty and get all swollen and infected. And now you go to school and you're like, all I had was a small pimple, and now it looks like my whole face is melting off. And if you just go, hey, I'm a pretty good looking dude or gal, if I just need to put a little thing on it, let it go away, and accept that we have blemishes and not try to fix everything. The other side of it is, when you say, oh, we're going to have, again, I'm not trying to get too political here, but you say, okay, we're going to have a society and we're going to have a police force. Now, we understand that police are human too, and occasionally they may do something that is also illegal or go over the top. Instead of defunding the entire police force, maybe we should say, let's scale it back a little bit and understand we also have to deal with some of these issues as they come individually instead of looking at the whole broad thing. We've turned this thing into, college football wise, oh, if one team gets screwed, it's the worst thing ever, and we have to fix that next year. There's no doubt about it. It's got to be. We got to change it. Conference champion needs to get in. No, they need a bye. No doubt. No ifs, ands, and buts. Well, now this year the 4-team playoff had Arizona State at 4 and Boise State at 3, and we all look at this now and go, "This is so dumb. How did we do this?" Yet there were so many people screaming for this exact thing, and I'm just telling you, I'm worried that we're going to keep fixing it until we ruin it. That's my point. And we keep fixing it. We keep doing this stuff. We're not going to get to even know what a 12-team playoff does before we expand it again, because we can't wait. Now, fine. That's what everybody wants. You want to have a big playoff and not let the regular season matter? That's fine. And you say, well, the regular season matters more than ever. I'll tell you what. Michigan beating Ohio State should have meant Ohio State doesn't get in. Now, again, that's Luke talking. And that should have been like a Michigan milestone moment, like something they can – if Ohio State wins the national championship, you think they give 2 rips if Michigan beat them or not? I wouldn't. I would. Auburn can beat Alabama every year for the next 100 years if we're in the national championship to win the national championship as a result. I'll do that. I'll make that trade all day, every day. And y'all can sit around and brag on it, and we'll sit around and polish rings. I'll take that trade.
You know, I'll say this, and I don't want to sound like the goody two-shoe carrying the banner for colleges, but the reason we're at this point is because all we're talking about is the money factor. And I know it's a big business, but we have forgotten that these players had a scholarship offer to come play at a school to get an education, and this thing did grow and it got bigger, and the money came in and the TV rights deal, and I know it's changed everything, but we don't even talk about that other anymore. We don't talk about academic eligibility. I don't remember the last time anybody outside of the 3 of us have even said those words. We don't talk about what it means to go play for that school. I don't think any of these players care anymore. I think some of them do, because some of the ones that are down, the kid that ran into the referee on the sideline for the Georgia game and Notre Dame game, he's probably over there. He loves being at Georgia. He probably needs to be in a frat somewhere instead of standing on the sideline playing for Georgia. But we have turned this thing, let's all quit trying to act like this is college football, okay? I think that's another problem. We're all in our mind saying, oh, that AU or that number on the side of the helmet, oh, that's the school we pull for. Nobody cares anymore, man. These players in 6 to 9 months can be playing for somebody else. There's no loyalty there. Randy has said it all week about coaches not having loyalty. Nobody cares. It's the next best deal. It's the way society is. We're all capitalists. We encourage that. But it goes back to not having rules and regulations to police this stuff. I'm all for capitalism. I'm all for people getting paid what they deserve. But you just can't go out there and every 6 months demand more money. Employees can't go into Robinson Iron and Lee Apparel every 6 months and demand more money. There won't be a business eventually if you have to up the pay every time somebody comes and thinks they're worth more. Got to figure it out, man, or we're going to keep going down this road.
I said it in the previous segment. Until you get leadership that decides the 8 or 10 things that the Power Four feels like they want and need, and put that person in place and give him the reins to go out there and fight and not lose every single court battle that comes up, it's not going to be fixed. Talking heads like us aren't going to fix this, because the next thing that comes up, they're going to concede to. It's what's happened so far.
So it's the judicial system. It's the judicial system, really.
If you can't win court battles, then yeah, and that's been the case.
So what I think is going to happen, and again, this is the irony of it all. People who usually, the little guy who screams the most and demands all this change, usually doesn't understand, oh, it could get worse for me. So think about this. If you're Purdue and now Purdue's in the Power Four, or Vanderbilt, but let's take Memphis or somebody like that, Boise. They're screaming, we need more opportunities. If you're Ohio State, if you're Michigan, if you're Alabama, if you're LSU, if you're Georgia, whatever, you're probably going, okay, why should you get the same opportunity as us when people want to watch us, nobody's tuning in to Purdue, Virginia Tech. I don't mean that as a shot at Purdue or Virginia Tech. I just mean it the way it is. I mean, ratings bear that out. So if you're the bigger schools, you might say, okay, y'all want to be more like the NFL and just have heartless playoff selection, like you go here and there's no exception. You go here and there's no exception. Fine, we're going to do like the NFL and have 32 teams. How about that? Now, all the teams that were crying for all the inclusion, they're out of the picture altogether. So what I'm saying is be careful what you yell for. And because this isn't going to be like the NCAA basketball tournament. It's impossible. We're already asking these kids to play 17 games. That's as many as an NFL regular season game. And I'm just telling you, I don't think that's going to work. I think what's going to happen is the big boys will eventually begin to break away either little by little or the way things are going very, very quickly. Rules are coming down the hill so fast now. Did you see the NCAA said they're going to talk about just making it where you have 5 years of eligibility, no questions asked, and we're just going to do that. Look, I'm for that. As long as we do something like say, here's the deal. Everybody's got 5 years of eligibility. End of discussion. No red shirts, no injury, medical hardships, no ninth year seniors like we've seen, none of that crap. You got 5 years to play as much football or basketball or volleyball as you want to and get as paid as much as you want to. At the end of that 5th year, whether you've had a hangnail or a shattered ankle bone, you're out.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break on that point and keep this going when we come back. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone, 256-750-0381, or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments here in the first hour. Get your comments in. We got a bunch of comments coming through, and we're trying to get through those as we talk. And again, talking about the college football playoff, I had a feeling it was going to eat up a majority of what we talked about. We get to basketball. By the way, SEC basketball starts today. We're going to talk a lot about that in the second hour. But while we're sitting here trying to drill for oil in a rock quarry, trying to figure out how to fix the problems of college football that we can't fix on this show or any show. We can bring them to light, and we can talk about them because that's what we do. And that's what you do out there watching and commenting. So let's talk about some of these games. Let's go back and look. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say one thing really quickly.
Go ahead.
We said it off air that, and Justin saying again, I'm saying as a team and fan, ultimately you can't complain about not being in versus teams who haven't lost. Nobody's saying an undefeated team should be left out over a 3-loss team or anything like that. But I'm saying when you have 3-loss teams and 2-loss teams, and you have teams that played a difficult schedule and teams that didn't, that's where it's going to come up. And here's the other side of that. Again, as a guy who does a podcast now, and I've learned this very quickly. The first thing I thought of when Alabama lost that Michigan game wasn't anymore, dang, we suck. It was, my views are about to go way up. Hey, if Alabama had won that game, my podcast would have gotten 20,000 views. It doubled that because people want to hear us complain. So when we get on here and complain, people like to hear it. When y'all complain on Auburn Blitz, when you lose, I promise you.
Well, shit, everybody's numb to us. At some point when you've lost so much, that planes out too. So
okay, but now, okay, fair. But my point is, when you were first losing, like when you had a loss, I'm trying to think of a loss this year that was really bad. When y'all came on the next day and Brett's fired up and there's literal smoke coming out of his ears and lava out of his nose, I promise you more people were watching. So people say, I hate it when people complain. No, you don't. You watch more.
There's no doubt there's truth to that for sure. We've said it.
Let me spin it over in a conversation because I want to get Luke's take on this, Brett, and I want to carry it down the football alley just a second. Defenses, in every generation, it feels like defenses at some point catch up with what the offenses are doing, and you'll see, points start going down or offenses change. Luke, do you get that feel at all this year? Because I think defenses are ruling the day. The Penn States and the Ohio States and some other teams out there, Michigan against Alabama, holding Alabama to 13 points. I know that this is not the same Alabama offense that we've seen in the past, but it does feel like that a championship game may not be the Clemson and Alabama championship game of many moons ago that was 45-42 or whatever the hell that thing ended up being. A bunch to a bunch, that this one may be a lot more low scoring, and your feel on what's going on in college football when it comes to defenses matching offenses.
I don't think it's as broad sweeping as that. I think it's a bad year for college football quarterbacks. Dylan Gabriel's one of our best, and he's fine. He's not great. Oklahoma pushed him out the door for Jackson Arnold. They pushed him out the door. Will Howard is the quarterback at Ohio State. He's fine. But let me tell you something. You put Tua Tagovailoa on this Ohio State team, throwing to that wide receiving crew, nobody's touched him. Out of Michigan, nobody. Oregon, nobody. Trevor Lawrence on that team, nobody's coming close to him. It's a bad year for quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe is the number 3 quarterback on Mel Kiper's big board. That's all I need to know. And I've been a Milroe staunch supporter, but I have seen the light. He's fine, and he can run like a deer. Otherwise, it is 50-50. I'm talking about on a screen pass, on a deep ball, running sideways, anything. And I like him as a human being. I do. And I'm just calling it like I see it. He cannot do a lot of things that normal quarterbacks can do.
All right, there's a lot we want to get to here in the next hour and 15 minutes. Want to recap a few of these games real quick. Want to talk to you, Luke, about the status of Alabama in your mind, where you think this team goes. I know an assistant coach got fired yesterday on the defensive side of the football. I want to talk about Auburn, Randy, kind of where we look going into the spring. I think there's a lot of teams in the SEC that have a lot of questions. that normally haven't had questions, namely Alabama and Georgia. Okay, Alabama's got some questions they've got answered, namely at quarterback. Even though a lot of people had grown, disheartened with Jalen Milroe for the reasons you just brought up, Luke. Who's going to be Alabama's starting quarterback next year? That's one point we'll talk about. The teams Randy and I talked about on the podcast yesterday, the Missouris, LSU, some of these teams that really started playing well and have been playing well that were at the lower, not LSU, but Missouri, maybe Arkansas, some of these teams that have been at the bottom of the league aren't necessarily at the bottom of the league anymore. South Carolina, Florida. I mean, who's got DJ Lagway coming back this year, and who I think Billy Napier maybe did the most phenomenal job I've seen in a long time, where 3 games into the season, everybody was ready to cut his head off. And by the end of the year, Florida was playing as good as anybody out there. And he discovered that DJ Lagway probably should have started at the beginning of the year, but they've got him coming back. And we all know how important quarterback play is. So I guess we'll start there. Just your analysis, and start Randy and go down to Luke, your analysis on this league right now in the SEC.
Well, you and I talked about it yesterday, and it's unfortunate as an Auburn fan that we're not listed in one of those 5 teams that you brought up. So my takeaway right now is I wish Auburn were in the same boat that South Carolina's in and moving in the right direction, not just selling ourselves that the recruiting is going to lead us to the right direction.
Right.
So it's the show me state that you keep saying on all of the shows at this point. That's where I am with Auburn. That's my spin there. But, tip your hat to Napier and South Carolina and Missouri. Look at Missouri. What's Missouri's record over
22-6 in their last 28 games.
Would we take that?
Are you kidding?
And some of those wins have been like the one against Auburn this year that you can say, well, Auburn should have won. Well, we would have, should have, could have done a lot of things over the last 15 years that we didn't do. So I'm hopeful that we're one of those teams that you bring up next year, but it feels like I go into every year saying the same thing. That's my takeaway with football right now as an Auburn fan is I'm hopeful that next year is when we turn over a new leaf, but I've still got my questions.
Luke, before you give your take, I want to go ahead and go to commercial break because we're at the break. Come back. I want your analysis on that. And then I want you to talk about Alabama moving into next year because DeBoer, after 1 year, I just hear mixed feelings from everybody, from Alabama fans. So I'd like to hear your take on that. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hello, this is Little Mo right here with you from DLR Us Auto Sales. At DLR Us, we have multiple sedans and SUVs. Come see us at 33445 U.S. Highway 280, Childersburg, Alabama, 35044. Call us at 256-267-3257. Let's make a deal, people. Our down payment is based on $500 down with the approval of credit. We make it happen. We work with you. We got the choice for you, and we make the right deal.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week. Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious 1-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Last segment here. In the first hour, we were talking about the status of the SEC and kind of where we sit going in to 2025. Luke, your thoughts on the state of Alabama's program? Again, probably more questions going into a season next year and an off season for Alabama than they've had in the last 20 years. And you got a new coach that just won 9 games but lost 4. You got a team that had a love-hate relationship with their quarterback. Now they're going to be trying to figure out, is Ty Simpson the guy? Is Keelan Russell the guy? Who's the guy? And we all know that's important. Lord knows, us as Auburn fans, no quarterback is the most important position. If you can't get that right, it really doesn't matter what everything else it does on the field, especially offensively. So your take Alabama-wise heading into 25.
Well, first of all, big picture with the SEC. I mean, I guess Gunnar Stockton's going to be the Georgia guy. They have an easy non-con next year. Their in conference is tough, but most of their tough games are at home. Texas, Alabama's at home. Ole Miss is at home. All the teams that they had to play on the road this past year that they complained about, well, they get them at home next year. Bama, as you said, has got a lot of questions. LSU, here's one that I thought they might fall way back to earth next year. Well, now they bring back who I think will be unquestionably the number 1 quarterback in the league next year in Nussmeier. And by the way, they open up at the other Death Valley in Clemson, who also will welcome Cade Klubnik back, which has turned into maybe the game of the day, which will be a fabulous day of college football that first week. Ole Miss, easy non-conference, but who's going to be there? We know they're going to hit the portal extremely hard. They already have. But who's going to be their guy? I mean, They'll still be dangerous. Then you got a cluster of teams like Missouri and A&M and Auburn and South Carolina and Florida and Vanderbilt. Of that bunch, Vandy's got the best quarterback. I don't think any of us can make an argument otherwise. They got Pavia coming back. I mean, would y'all take Pavia on Auburn right now over Jackson Arnold?
Yes.
Okay. Lenoris Sellers is coming back for South Kakalaki, but as good as he's sort of got a Jalen Milroe vibe going on, doesn't he? I mean, he can be awesome, and then the next minute you don't know what he's doing.
He does. He kind of did in that bowl game, and he did several games this year. I mean, he could look like a superstar and then a goat sometimes. So.
And that was probably the least meaningless of the meaningless bowl games. Again, if we're going to keep calling them meaningless, let's not call them all meaningless, but that one actually got under everybody's skin with Brett Bielema and Shane Beamer and all that.
Right.
Mizzou, they ought to be okay. Their non-con is pretty easy, and their conference schedule, again, very manageable. It's just a flip-flop of this year.
They'll probably win 8 games again.
Yeah. A&M, they got Kevin Concepcion from the transfer portal. They got another receiver who I can't remember, who's apparently very good. They got some dudes in the portal, but we don't really know what exactly they're going to be again. I mean, same problem. They fell off at the end of the year this year, and then they let a Southern Cal team that's not very good come back and beat them when they had a 24-7 lead. So I think questions are there for everybody. And so I don't know, but as far as Bama goes, the non-con's pretty difficult. I mean, no, FSU went 2-10 this year. Can't escape that. But they're going to be better next year because they have no choice. And then Alabama welcomes in Wisconsin. That's 2 Power 5 teams on your schedule. A lot of teams don't do that. They have to go to Auburn, obviously. They get LSU at home. They get Tennessee at home. They get Oklahoma at home. Got to go to Georgia. I mean, I think Alabama's like, I mean, could I see Alabama making the playoffs? Yeah. Could I see them getting left out again? Yeah. I don't know what to think. I usually go in every season with my chest puffed out.
I want you to look into the crystal ball. Is Kalen DeBoer going to be there after next year at Alabama?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
He will be there after next year.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's even a shocking revelation.
If he loses 4 games next year.
I still think he'll be there because it costs so much to get rid of him.
Well, what's his buyout? It's
a bunch right now.
61 million.
Was it 66? I thought
something like that.
It's 60 plus. I know it's a crazy number. And by the way, did Alabama? I mean, these contracts are wild to me, Luke. I mean, was Alabama that sold on Kalen DeBoer that you give him that type of buyout?
Well, I think the alternative was he re-signed with Washington.
Yeah. So you were sold on him. I mean, you have to be sold on somebody that you give that type.
And I was
That's
ready.
Wild to me.
And I was ready to crown Dan Lanning the next guy, and then you get what you get in the Rose Bowl with him, man. I was like, Oregon. I know it's one game. I get it, but this is Oregon's problem. It's just like Justin's comment about Ole Miss, and he's right. Until Lane Kiffin's won 10+ games and all that. But then he lays an egg, and he's on the outside complaining why his team doesn't get in. It's the Ole Miss hasn't put a trophy in their case in God knows when. And they've got some really good seasons. It kind of feels like Mark Richt. Georgia had some really good seasons. They couldn't ever get over the hump. They did at least win a couple conference championships for Mark Richt there. I mean, they can't even get to the SEC championship game, and we know this was one of the best Ole Miss teams that they've had in a long time. So
yeah, it is funny that, I mean, for all the people that have killed Alabama for losing to Oklahoma and Vandy, and they should be killed for it. I'm not saying they shouldn't.
But don't lose to Kentucky at home.
Ole Miss has the worst loss of anybody in the SEC this year, if you ask me.
Period. It was horrible. And it kept them out. And then they still had a chance to get in. And I know Florida was playing better, but they gave Jackson Dart 14 opportunities in the fourth quarter not to throw a pick, and he did it every time. So they throw a pick, get the ball right back, put him right back out to throw another pick. They had their opportunity to win that game. Florida was okay. They should have went down there and beat them if they were a playoff contender and wanted to be in. So this conference is crazy, and I think the parity's greater than it's ever been. Randy and I talk ad nauseum every day about Auburn, so we won't talk a lot about that. But yeah,
somebody, Glenn Toller, I think, said, "Well, see, NIL has leveled the playing field." Y'all know who the Final Four is, right? Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, and Ohio State. Probably four of the top 8 blue bloods in all of college football. Has it been leveled?
I think the SEC's been leveled.
Maybe a little bit, sure.
And I think the main reason the SEC's been leveled, and you could say that that's the reason that Nick Saban got out of it, was the NIL, which leveled it there. But Nick Saban leaving leveled it to all of us. I mean, my perception of Alabama is nowhere near what it was.
Oh, I don't blame you.
And Georgia, I still have a strong perception of them if they get the quarterback position right. I think they were the class of the league this year. Their quarterback play just wasn't up to par where we've seen it in the past. So I think the biggest point that I've tried to throw out there in the first hour is Alabama and Georgia have carried the flag for the SEC for a long time, and if they come back to earth, then it levels everything.
Well, the SEC is more like an NFL conference. Like their leveling is
right.
Like, okay, instead of being like this, it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas these other conferences are like a big gap here, because you know what, the SEC still has the most NFL draft picks.
Sure,
they still got the most people. Alabama got, I think, 8 or 10 guys in the Pro Bowl. I mean, what I'm saying is the SEC still carries the weight, and the SEC still has the best conference, and that's why I get so mad at people for latching on to, well, South Carolina, Alabama, and Ole Miss had 3 losses. They'd have no complaint. They're playing in the American Football Conference. They're not playing in the SEC. They're not playing the same schedule as Boise. Boise's playing a bunch of teams that usually you go snow skiing this time of year.
All right, let's get to our top of the hour break. Again, we have another hour coming up here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Located in the heart of Alabama, Lake Martin is a destination of tasty delights.
Lots of butter.
There's no shortage of culinary genius.
Don't tell my secrets.
From mom and pops
Everyone feels like family.
to lakeside dining.
We serve food, but we try to do it with purpose.
Pour it straight in the ear.
I'm Trey Foshi,
I'm a chef now.
and I'm going to try them all.
Yeah, I can do this all day.
Because there's one thing locals around here know. Lake Martin's got bite.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
We're hammering down high prices at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. New full-size GMC Sierras discounted up to $12,000 off. GMC Terrains with a roomy cabin and pro safety discounted up to $7,250 off. Enjoy the holidays with no payments until springtime. Choose from 600 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way. GlennSmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Oh, here we go. Welcome back, everyone, to hour number 2 of the Saturday Sports Countdown. Get your comments in on YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel out there. We appreciate all of you that are joining us that way. We appreciate all of our TV viewers out there as well, and everybody tuning us in on radio as well. So thank you for joining us for 20-plus years here on the Saturday Sports Countdown, and we'll shift over and talk about some SEC basketball. And again,
we never did talk about the playoff games.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go back because we've got a full hour. Let's talk about the playoff games before we dive into SEC basketball. We'll start with the Penn State game. Maybe Penn State's a little bit better than we all thought. Okay, I mean they have notoriously under James Franklin not been able to win the big game for all the grief that Ryan Day catches. You know, James Franklin has been the same guy. And we looked at their path and we said, look, maybe Penn State has the easiest path to get there. And here they are in the semifinals. So just your thoughts on Penn State and where they are. I mean, again, they did to Boise what we all thought. I told Randy on the podcast, I thought the game that would have the chance to be the biggest blowout would be the Boise-Penn State game because Boise is so one-dimensional with Ashton Jeanty. And it ended up playing out. I thought they fought hard, but again,
Penn State's talent, the lines of scrimmage won out. And now here Penn State sits in the semifinal. And what's your thoughts on that, guys?
One of the best defensive teams in the country. Really good on the defensive front. So physically they match up with anyone. You know, when you watch them play, to me, it feels like watching an NFL team play that doesn't have a premier quarterback. You know, you watch a really good, solid NFL team play that's got a middle of the pack to slightly above middle of the pack quarterback, and they've got to do everything well to win. And Franklin doesn't get as much credit as he deserves to be one of the best college coaches, because Penn State was dead in the water. When all of the Paterno and Sandusky and all of that storyline hit, and you have to remember that wasn't that long ago, for Franklin to right that ship and have them a consistent winner. Now, are they winning championships like Alabama and Georgia consistently? No. But they're a 10-plus win team just about year in and year out, aren't they? I'd have to go back and look at their record, but it feels like
they are.
So just a really good program, and I don't think we give Franklin the credit that he deserves for what he's done, not only at Vandy, but moving on to Penn State.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty good coach. I also think, again, another flaw in the system where Oregon had a much harder path, even though Oregon was the only team that earned to be in the playoffs, if you ask me. I mean, honestly, they're the only team that you could say, see, that was one of the old things where, like, if we were doing it the old ways, this is one of the years where it would have worked out. Where, like, everybody said, Oregon's national championship. They proved it over the long
Who would have been the team in the BCS if obviously Oregon would have clearly had one spot? Who would have been the other team?
Well, Georgia was the 2, right?
I think
guess it would have been Georgia.
So it would have been Oregon and Georgia.
No, I'd be willing to bet it might. I don't know. I don't know about BCS because there's a formula, like there's a computer.
Well, I think they would have had enough points to get it.
It might have been Notre Dame, and again, setting up to play in a 12-team format versus playing just one team. I think Oregon blasts Notre Dame. That's me, and maybe I know hypotheticals, whatever. But yeah, I think I think Oregon beats Notre Dame because I think you got to throw for more than 90 yards against them. And again, everybody talking about how will Notre Dame surpass Georgia. I mean, Georgia was out there with a backup trying to make something happen right before the half, and they screwed up. They probably should have run the ball and taken it 6-3 at the half. And instead, they give up a fumble, and then they kick it, and nobody ever returns kickoffs anymore, and they return it all the way. Next thing you know, Georgia's playing catch-up with a backup. It's different.
It was a perfect storm.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm. So, anyway, I think Penn State's fine, but they got a draw that only Penn State could get. I mean, they play SMU, who a lot of people thought, I'm not sure if they should be there or not. Now, it turns out if they had played Bama or South Carolina or Ole Miss, they probably beat them too. I wholeheartedly admit it. And then they go on and they get to play Boise, which, okay, if you want to give them, was Boise's reward a bye week? I mean, I don't think so. I mean, what would be the best thing to do, and what you can't do in basketball because they're logistically it's too much of a problem. But I think what you can do in football is say, after every round, we're reseeding this thing, or we're going to let the higher seed play the lowest seed available, whatever, something like that. And that would have been the thing to do, because if you ask me, and again, I'm in a perfect system, Penn State would have to beat Ohio State before they got to the national championship game, because I think that's the one thing that's the hurdle they can't get over. That's their bugaboo. And so before they get to the national championship game, you have to prove to me you can beat them. You've already had a shot this year. You couldn't beat them at home. And frankly, you had it on the 1-yard line twice and couldn't get it in. And Ohio State sort of played like very conservatively that game. Jeremiah Smith wasn't the factor he is now. So I'm not sure that Penn State could hang with Ohio State. I still think Ohio State would wax them if they play again. So I don't want to see them in a natty. I would rather see Penn State have to play Ohio State like when they played Boise and say, okay, if you get by Ohio State now, you've earned it. But if you don't, they shouldn't get a freebie into the natty, which is kind of what they have. And they have as much of a freebie as you can have.
All right, so you move on, and that Texas-Arizona State game, Texas looked like they were going to run away with it. And then Arizona State fought back, and Scatterbo really brought them back, and we saw something that never happens. A player on the losing team win the MVP. And, look,
he's got a little bit of an air about him. He's got a little bit of arrogance about him, but I think that's what makes him who he is. And look, it turned out to be the best game of the day and the best game so far of the college football playoff, going into 2 overtimes. And if you add the controversy of that field goal in the first half with Arizona State, whether it should have counted or not after the ball bounced over the bar, maybe you don't even go to overtime. Maybe they win it in regulation. Bottom line is, thought Arizona State proved that they deserved to be there. They could have wilted and just went away after they got down the way they did to Texas, but they fought back and they made this a game where they had a chance to win it.
How was the crowd, Luke? I know you were there.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny. Like, somebody responded to me on Twitter. I have no dog in the fight. I mean, I guess I do. My son goes to Arizona State. So, but I'm also an SEC homer, as y'all know. I'm a card carrying. SEC is the best guy. I have no problem saying that. But I went to that game and I took a video right before kickoff. I just scanned the whole stadium, and the upper deck was empty. The lower deck was fine. There were clusters of Arizona State, clusters of Texas. I bought a suite seat off of a Game Time app for about $100.
Well, Luke, let's look at it from the standpoint of Texas. That's the second time they've been to Atlanta in a few weeks. They got a chance to go back in another few weeks to play for national championship. How many trips you taking to the Mercedes Dome as a Texas fan? And Arizona State, God love them, they traveling all the way across the country to go to a quarterfinal game. I mean, again, that's why you set up these things. People try to go, I'm going to take a chance. I remember you saying this, Luke. I'm going to take a chance and see if Alabama makes it to the next round, and I'll go to that game, or I'm not going to go to the SEC championship game in hopes they go to the national championship game. So let's go ahead and take a break here, keep this conversation rolling into the next segment. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SCC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full-service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Welcome back, everyone, to Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Let's get back to these playoff games, and we're going to slide over to college basketball. The call in the game, again, we've talked about this too. Again, not going to solve any problems on here, but we can complain. If that wasn't targeting, I don't know what targeting is anymore. And we all said it. Where we were watching the game, everybody unanimously said, well, that's targeting. And then they go and look at it and review it, and they come back and say, what? Just do away with the rule, man. Just do away with it.
Brett, I was in the stadium, and a bunch of Texas fans, sort of bought the individual seats like me in the suite with me. And, but it was still about half empty. And live, I'm watching the game just live like everybody else. Live, I didn't think there was anything to see. But when they showed the replay and then said we're reviewing it for targeting, as soon as they put it up, all Texas fans went like this because they knew. They were like helmet to helmet, forcible contact, all the characteristics. And then they come back and say no targeting, and they're fired up, and Arizona State fans are PO'd. And again, it's like we don't know what y'all want. We're not sure what you want us to do here. Because part of me is like, okay, that's really kind of a good tackle. I didn't think that was malicious. I don't think there was malicious intent. It's hard to understand what somebody's intent was.
I agree.
The way he was tackled, I was like, that's just a pretty good tackle in my day or 10 years ago. But now the way y'all do it, that seems to fit every criteria you need to be targeting. So why isn't nobody's come back and said why I didn't. It was clear as day to me. And I saw people on Twitter saying, well, that's not what I want the sport to be. I don't want it to be that either. So let's get rid of it. Let's also get rid of review, because here's the other thing. I'll say this for the millionth time. I'm so sick of review. I don't know what to do, because if you're going to review that and determine that wasn't targeting, please don't review anything else, because nobody knows. It's the same as just when I saw it live, and all you did was hurt Arizona State even more by crushing their momentum. Do you understand where I'm going?
No, it's 100%, Randy. Your thoughts on it?
I agree with both of you. I told you this the other day, Brett. I don't know how you coach tackling anymore.
Hard.
Because I think you pretty much have to take the headgear out of the game, and you've got to communicate that to everyone too, is that you can't go head first into the chest like any of us were taught 35 years ago. The perfect form tackling is my headgear, my head up, right in directly into your chest with my legs moving and pushing you backward. All of us were taught that way. I don't know that you can anymore, because he didn't launch.
He did not launch. No, he did not
launch.
No.
And it was a perfect form tackle, but it was headgear to headgear. So what is the rule?
It was unavoidable. In a way, it was unavoidable, because he was there. And so he was just there with his helmet like this. And the other guy's helmet runs into him. But again, I've seen targeting called on plays far less severe than that. So, and it goes back to Randy talking about fighting for, a 3-loss Alabama or Ole Miss to get in over SMU. Okay, we're kind of picking nits here, so let's just get that part out of it. If it were my perfect world, Alabama wouldn't be in, Ole Miss wouldn't be in, and neither would SMU, because they clearly aren't one of the best teams that deserve it. That's my point, that this is so dumb to have this discussion about, well, was it targeting or not? Because the letter of the law, it seems like it was, but I also understand it's not forcible contact. So why don't we just take the whole thing out?
I mean, again, it goes back to what we said in the first hour. You keep adding caveats to why something, instead of just saying, if it's crown of the helmet to the headgear, it's targeting, period. I'm sorry. I hate it that's, it was bad timing with the tackle, but if it's headgear to headgear, it's targeting.
Well, what if the wide receiver lowered his head though, Brett? I'm curious.
I'm saying the same thing. I don't know. I'm just saying, don't.
The only way you can coach it though, Brett, is to say you got to tackle with your shoulder.
Sure.
I mean, you got to have headgear across, tackling with your shoulder pads, take the headgear out of the tackle if you're going to call that.
What you're saying is exactly the whole point of the rule. That's what they're trying to say.
The rule to me is what the two of you are saying. Headgear to headgear is targeting 15 yards, you're out of the game. Period.
Hey, y'all know I'm not this much of a conspiracy theorist because I always hate it when people do it in Alabama's direction, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite, but I did make the joke that I bet that official's looking at the screen, y'all, this is targeting. And then he said, I just got to check this text real quick. Greg, Texas has sent me $1 million in my Zelle account. That is not targeting. We all good here.
I'm telling you, man, look, in this world with everything that goes on, it's hard not to be a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
We won't go down that rabbit hole. But to finish that up, Randy, I hear what you're saying. I think that's why they put the rule in, is your explanation, is they want you to lead with your pads and not with your headgear
across.
And if it's headgear to headgear, the problem is the launching thing. They put the launch in there, and I've seen targeting call where somebody launched and hit somebody in the chest, and they called them targeting.
He didn't launch at all.
He did
We've
not.
seen him hit him in the butt and they call it targeting. Brett, that it goes back to what you said at the beginning of the show, that we keep putting words in to make it easier. It makes it tougher.
It's overcomplicating it.
It's the old senator or congressman who said, when somebody said, well, what is pornography? He said, I don't know, but I know it when I see it.
That's it.
That's what it should be. Targeting should be
is
like
is that what they're looking at under the little hood?
He said, I got to determine if this is target. Y'all got to give me another minute.
It's another definition of targeting.
This thing just got good.
No wonder it takes so long for them to come up with a rule.
I don't know if it's targeted or not, but she just ordered a pizza. So let me see what happens. But look, but no, that's what the rule should say.
It should.
In the rule book, it should say targeting. You know it when you see it.
I totally agree.
What I saw last week for Arizona State wasn't targeting. By the rule, it seemed clear to me it was. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you should leave it to the discretion of the official. Like, look, that really wasn't targeting. Okay.
I'm never going to be able to look at an official, go over to the screen and look at that little monitor again without thinking of this conversation. All right, a couple more minutes in this segment.
I don't know about a 15-yard penalty, but I see at least a yard. Oh, sorry.
I knew we had to kill it. It was going to get out of control. It's going to get to the edge right here. All right, Ohio State, we talked about this. We really need to go back into it. Ohio State obliterated Oregon. Oregon was the number one team. It is what it is. I think Ohio State showed after the first round they may have kind of awakened after that Michigan game and was playing the best, and I still think they're playing the best of anybody. And then the Sugar Bowl got postponed today because of the horrible tragedy that happened. We've all been on Bourbon Street a million times. All of us have. I'd be lying if I didn't say when you're in crowds like that something doesn't cross your mind. And I've stood exactly where a lot of those people have stood, just like y'all have. And it's crazy to think, man, some idiot did what they did. So that kind of took away the feel of that game, having to play that at 3:00 on the next day. So let's take a break right here, guys, and we'll come back and finish that discussion and then spend the last 30 minutes talking about basketball, Auburn and Alabama. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at dunningroofingal.com for more information.
Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. 30 minutes left in the show today. Just wrapping up your thoughts on the Sugar Bowl. Again, Georgia was hoping to make it back and play for another national championship. And Carson Beck went out in that SEC championship game. Again, we can go on and on about the SEC championship game now. You know, you lost your starting quarterback in a game that really don't mean two hoots other than you won the conference. And I know I'm not diminishing that. I think it's huge to win SEC championships, but it doesn't mean as much as it used to. And
would Georgia like to have had, let's say, even Tennessee spot now? Like, say, okay, we're just going to sit this out, because they probably would have gotten the 5 seed, 5 or 6 seed. They would have been in Tennessee and Penn State slot or something. Like, they get the 6 seed, and then they get a home game, which they make a bunch of money, and then they go, to the Fiesta Bowl or something and play Boise or whatever. Shoot, if I were them, I would have much rather had that deal.
I think my takeaway with Georgia is what I told you this week, Brett. Whatever you think you need to spend on the quarterback room,
that's what you got to do.
In the NIL era, just double it. Because I think that's how important the quarterback play is right now. You take a program like Auburn, man. I don't know what we need to spend on that room. Jackson Arnold gets $2.5 million. I don't know what we paid Deuce Knight, but it's not enough. because it.
But without them, you know you don't have a chance.
Without them, you don't have a chance. So my takeaway with Georgia was what Luke said earlier in the show today. The quarterback play was just down this year across the board, especially in the SEC, which means that if you did get it right this year, like if Cam Ward would have been at Auburn or somewhere else, then you probably could have cured a lot of L's with quarterback play being down the way that it was. So just get out of your mind that you can't believe you would spend $2.5 million on Jackson Arnold or whoever you think is the right piece. You better spend it.
It makes us mad. It makes us mad, but it is what it is.
Let's do this in summation, and then we'll get to basketball. First round buys. Teams that get first-round buys, they don't get a home playoff game. Why do you want to buy? And none of them won a game. So you analyze that, and then you look at this situation here. I mean, they're flaws that need to be looked at and corrected. I don't mind. Everything's imperfect. All we've talked about this morning's why things aren't in a we don't live in a perfect world. But make them, if you're going to do some things, actually work to make the system better. Don't make it worse. So you got to look at conference championship games. They're not relevant anymore, okay? And you got to look at these buys. It's not fair for somebody like Oregon to be the number one seed to have to play the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee, and you look down at Penn State's path, and they have to beat SMU and Boise to get to the semifinal. It's not right, period.
I'm going to vomit like Cam Scatterboo when I say this. But now that we've gone to 12, and now that we've seen the flaws in the system, the only thing we can do is go to 16. That just dawned on me, because you're not going backwards, and we do want to make it where, conference championships and stuff like that do matter, but we also don't want to penalize teams for doing well by not getting a home game and then losing some momentum coming into the playoffs. So all you can do is go to 16, which is what I hated all along. But 12 was the worst thing they could. Now that we've seen 12 was the worst thing they could do.
I understand the strategy behind the bye and the reasoning behind that. It didn't work out right because of the way they seeded. And the conference, they didn't really get a benefit from this. And so it showed that we have data now. They're 0-5. The conference champions and the automatic bids into the first round, or the bye in the first round, were 0-5.
And this may go away, but I've also always said I think momentum is much more prevalent. It's prevalent in every sport. It's a big deal in every sport. It's more prevalent in college because that the kids are younger and more impressionable, and for the longest time they weren't getting paid. In the pros, it's a business. You show up, you handle your business. But now that they are getting paid, it may not be as big a deal. But my point was that if you're Oregon and you have all this momentum coming into the playoffs, and then you get an extra couple of weeks off, meanwhile, Ohio State gets beaten, and then they get to fine-tune some problems against a Tennessee team that wasn't in their class, and then they get to go to the Rose Bowl, which they've been to a million times, by the way. It's not like this new venue. Then they've been able to fine-tune some things on the actual field, whereas Oregon was sort of like, they go to Christmas and they hang out and they get bored, and then they go to the Rose Bowl and get their doors beat off.
Notre Dame will take on Penn State in the Orange Bowl. Notre Dame's a 2-point favorite in that game on January the 9th. Again, that's a Thursday. And then on Friday, Ohio State will take on Texas in the Cotton Bowl. So will be, in essence, a home game for Texas. Ohio State's a 6-point favorite in those games. Y'all's two thoughts on who wins those two games?
Great matchups is my thought. I mean, Penn State and Notre Dame playing in one semi, that's two of the best programs in college football history. And on the opposite side, you bring Ohio State, that probably is favored by what you've seen with Texas, but you bring them down to Texas and give Texas that benefit, probably evens it out more than that line is showing. So
how about Quinn Ewers' element? He was at Ohio State. Yeah, he was a Texas legacy. Everybody thought he was going to Texas. He goes to Ohio State, gets the first $1 million deal. Everybody thinks this is nuts. Shoot, he wouldn't show up to a appearance event for $1 million now. People are talking about he's going to get $6 million next year.
Do you think is he playing that good for y'all? I mean, I just don't. I don't
mean
crazy.
this is a shot at y'all, but Jackson Arnold ain't worth 2.5 either. Agreed. If Jackson Arnold's worth 2.5, Quinn's worth 6. I'll say that. But I don't think either one of them's worth that. Right? But you're worth what somebody's going to pay you.
That's it.
I just said you better be willing to pay double whatever's in your mind for that quarterback room to get it right. You don't have a choice.
I hate it. Y'all hate it. But it's what the monster we've created. And again, I'll say for the 1,000th time, if we weren't doing this show and we each didn't have a podcast, and even though we all went to our respective schools and we followed them through hell and high water through the years, it's hard not to have some of the love fall away. You know what I mean?
Well, we have. We all have. We've lost it. And a lot of, people that we talk to on a daily basis feel the exact – I don't see anybody – I haven't seen – a tweet or whatever you want to call it now, an X comment, or anybody on a show say they love the structure of college football. I haven't seen that. Have y'all seen anybody come out and say, man, this is outstanding. I love every minute of this. This is great.
And Justin says they're worth it if somebody will pay it. I said that, number one. Number two, is that good for the sport, though? I just don't think it is. I don't think it is. But I think long-term, this is going to cost us all. I mean, I love the NFL as much as everybody, but I love it because you can bet on it and because of fantasy football. I don't love it because I'm a big Chiefs fan.
I was going to say, everybody that watches NFL probably is because they're betting on it or they have a fantasy league.
And I would watch Alabama play Minnesota in a submarine in the old days. You know what I mean?
That's it. Well, and it goes back to and we're not going to get into this because we got to get to a break and we got to get to basketball, but the bowl games are totally irrelevant. I mean, that game last night, I didn't even know the daggum thing was on. The Duke's Mayo. I mean, I didn't even know Minnesota and Virginia Tech were even playing, and obviously none of their fan bases did either, because if you looked at the stadium, there was nobody there because it doesn't mean anything. You're going to pack, like you just said about the cost of going to these games. Are you going to pack up if you're Ole Miss fans, even though you had 10-win season, and go down to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl?
No. Get Duke's Mayo Bowl and get a bunch of dang gum.
And then get a Mayo. What's what I'm saying? Are you going to go to either one of those games when it don't mean anything? I mean, bowl trips used to be fun. I went to a bunch of them.
Shoot, yeah.
I don't care anything about it anymore. Not going to spend the money to do it.
Brett, I went to Orlando to see the Jay Barker team in '94 and Sherman Williams.
All right. Ohio State.
Play Ohio State. And they had, I think they had Chris Carter. They had Keith Byers. They didn't have Keith Byers. They had somebody like Eddie George. That's who it was. Yep. They had dudes all over the place. I mean, it was just a blast.
It just doesn't mean anything anymore. All right, let's get to break. Stay tuned. A couple more segments right after this.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekends. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
At At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World. Up to 56% off new 2024 RVs during Camping World's model year-end clearance. Shop clearance pricing on over 24,000 2024 RVs that must go. Take advantage of these model year-end prices before they're gone.
Deserved every one of them little nuggets.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left in today's show. We are going to talk about college basketball right now, as Auburn and Alabama both open up SEC play. Both are top 5 teams. Auburn's ranked number 2. Alabama's ranked number 5. They both open up at home. Alabama opens up with a 13-0 Oklahoma team, and Missouri is 11-1, I believe, coming into to Neville Arena today, and they just beat Kansas a few weeks ago. I mean, there's no rest for the weary here in this league. Every single time you go on the floor, you're gonna have to play well. You better defend home court, and you better get your wins on the road when you can get them. Randy, I'll start with you. Glad to see SEC plays here.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how Auburn matches up with a really physical team for Missouri. You know, if you can beat Kansas, you got to be good down in the post. And the difference that I've seen with Auburn this year, maybe with some other SEC schools, and we'll see how it plays out, is Auburn's strength is in the post, not only shooting the ball from the perimeter, but Auburn can have a bad night shooting and still win basketball games. And, 5-6 years ago, that wasn't the case. Austin Wiley was not going to carry us to a championship with play down in the post, Brett. So this Auburn team can do it both ways. Alabama, if I look at this Alabama team and I see where their strengths are, they're still where they've been with Nate Oates, and Nelson's rugged enough to be able to defend down in the post, but I think Auburn would have to expose them down in the post. So I think Missouri's a really good matchup for Auburn in the first game to see really where we stand. And I'm sure, you can say all that you want about out-of-conference scheduling and the strength of schedule that Auburn and Alabama's played this year, but there's a whole new rejuvenation when it comes into conference play. And these players and all of us know how good the SEC is going to be this year. So you said a mouthful, you better win at home.
How about these stats? This is from an ESPN article today. And I'm just going to throw some numbers out at you. 88.9, that's the SEC's overall winning percentage entering conference play. It's by far the best record of any conference in the country. It's by far the best winning percentage in the league's history. 12, that's the number of SEC teams currently in Lunardi's bracketology. The record for any conference is 11. 21, that's the number of wins the SEC has against AP-ranked teams in non-conference play, the most ever by a conference prior to postseason play, according to ESPN research. Let's see, plus 20.12. That's the league's current rating at KenPom, the best in the country by some distance. In fact, it's the highest since the ACC finished at plus 20.21 in 2004. For reference, a team with a plus 20.12 net rating would be in the top 30 nationally in his rankings. There are 4 SEC teams in the top 10 at KenPom, 7 in the top 25, and 11 in the top 40. 15, that's how many SEC teams are ranked in the top 75 of the net. There are only 16 teams in the league, by the way. 5, that's how many teams are ranked in the top 10 of this week's AP poll.
So the stats and the matrix and all of the charts and everything we've seen leading up to conference play, or just all that stuff you just read off, Luke's been unbelievable. And listen to these games today, guys. Florida goes to Kentucky. Florida's number 6 in the country. Kentucky's number 10. That game's at 10 o'clock on ESPN. You've got Arkansas going to Tennessee at noon today. That's again a 23-ranked Arkansas team with John Calipari going to the number 1 team in the country in Tennessee. You've got South Carolina, Luke, like you said, who's the worst team in the league at 10-3, going to Mississippi State, who's ranked 17th. Then you got Oklahoma and Alabama. That's a 12-5 matchup. And you got Auburn opening up with a Missouri team that's 11-2 and's got 2 really good quality wins on their schedule already. And then you got Texas A&M tonight at 7 o'clock. It's got a rival matchup. This is the first dadgum game of the season, SEC season for all these teams. Unbelievable.
Well, when you've got as many good teams as you have, Brett, you can make storylines up like you just said. Now, if not all of them are as good as they are this year, then you may say Florida going on the road to Kentucky is going to be an easy win for Kentucky, but Florida's back in this thing. And
absolutely.
The beauty for us is that Auburn and Alabama sitting there as a top 5 team, and that's not just a one-off year. Luke's been saying it for 3 or 4 years. Randy, stop talking about pinching yourself and where this state's come in basketball. Just quit. Don't say it anymore. We're here. We've been here for a while. And we have been at the top of the SEC play, along with, say, Kentucky and Tennessee for the last decade. And it is a mouthful, but I don't think we're going anywhere. And Alabama last year was proof positive that I don't think this conference is going anywhere. I thought Alabama would take a tremendous step back last year, I'll be honest. Brandon Miller leaving, that great squad that they had a few years ago, and then last year they go to the Final Four. So Auburn, you may say, Brett, take advantage of it this year, all these seniors, and you're not going to be as – well, who knows, man? I mean, the way that our 2 schools here in this state are branding basketball now, you're going to go out on the transfer portal and be able to recruit 2 or 3 premier guys. So
no, I agree with that part. I'm just saying this particular year with 10 seniors and this much veteran leadership, it's so rare.
Oh, it's a special team. It's the best team we've ever had.
I'm not questioning that.
And to Randy's point, because they just changed that JUCO rule, you may get Chad Baker, Mazzara, and one of those
Denver
Jones back.
Denver Jones.
Yep. May get them back because they'll make more money playing at Auburn than they would anywhere else. They're more valued at Auburn than they are in the NBA. And I mean,
that's the same reason Mark Sears. What's the same reason you said Mark Sears came back to Alabama?
Correct. 100%.
Got more money, more appreciated there.
Janai too, Brett.
For sure, 1,000%.
They're the same 2 guys. I mean, Mark Sears, I thought was the best point guard in college basketball last year. You may say he's taken a semi-step back, but there's some more pieces around him that make that transition a little bit difficult this year for him. And Janai's the best post player back from last year once those guys went on to the NBA. So we're lucky that you have the NIL, because if you didn't have the NIL, we wouldn't have the benefit of having those 2 guys on our squad this year, for sure.
And that's the give and take of it. Yep. That's the give and take.
Our Stu said he's got several comments on here. He said, obviously a great day for SEC hoops, but when's Alabama's new arena going to open up? Are there plans for that?
I mean, they've got plans, but my understanding is they're like, I mean, all this sort of hit at the same time as the NIL stuff, and they're like, if we got somebody who wants to donate a couple $1 million, we want it to go into NIL. Nobody cares where you play anymore. You can play out there.
That's why I'm glad Auburn got Auburn Arena built when they did. I mean, they couldn't have asked for better.
At the time, it seemed dumb, right? At the time, it did.
Well, especially when you had Tony Barbee. Yeah, it was real dumb to open up a facility and have Tony Barbee coaching. Yeah, that absolutely was stupid.
But what Skip just said, I know we're up against break, but Bruce Pearl has said the exact same thing over and over again.
He has.
if the money comes in, spend it on NIL, not facilities.
That's where we are now. All right, up against the last break of the show. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindawa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Bunch of them, tons of comments. We really appreciate it.
Subscribe to our YouTube page if you haven't already. Really helps us. Trying to increase that number. You may look at that number for us and go, "Why do y'all only have so many?" But we haven't really tried.
We just started.
I mean, we just started a few months back.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I want to send out a shout out to Russ back in the studio. Since we've moved to this format, he still shows up and produces this for us on TV and radio, and we couldn't do the show without him back there. I kind of handle the production side here on the online stream. So it's worked out well for us, Randy, moving to this format, especially for Luke in Birmingham. And allows us to bring you this show. And most of the time, all three of us will be able to be on here and be able to give us, give our thoughts to everybody. And it's just a great format for people that are all over the place right now is all I can tell you.
Well, I'm going to prod Brett to change out that orange and blue color in the background of the Sports Blitz program to maybe throw a little red in there somewhere.
These are Florida. These are Florida colors, by the way.
So we don't look so Auburn oriented. But for those of you that are just finding us through our Auburn Blitz programming, we've had Sports Blitz programming for 20 plus years. And the thought process around that is Brett and I like to do shows together no matter what. But add an Alabama element into it a few times a week for a couple of hours. And Luke Robinson's been with us for a majority of that time, and real proud of Luke. Luke has grown by leaps and bounds with his podcast numbers with Locked On Bama, and so thrilled that we can get him back on Saturday and have a little back and forth. I like to prod him. He likes to prod me back. He's really good at it.
We all like to do that.
So I had a feeling that I could get him going this morning, and he came back at me 4 or 5 different times as it just set back in the back of his mind that I called Alabama out for losing 24-3.
And he didn't really, and he said he didn't really try to clamor for Alabama to get in. Okay, I didn't want to go down that path. I just let him do it. So
he made my day today.
John said he thinks I went in the portal. John, I hadn't been in. I'm not in the portal, John. I'm still right here. So
we don't have any leverage right now, John.
I have no reason to go in the portal. Nobody wants me. Hey, John, you just getting up, man? I mean, he said he's joining the fun late. You just waking up, joining us here. We're about over. So you've been laying in the bed. It was cold this morning. So just to kind of close out the show, we've got about 3 minutes. Again, talking about our program and podcast every single morning, Monday through Friday, the Auburn Blitz podcast. Randy and I do that. We really love it, enjoy it. We're building our YouTube channel. Like you said, I've got that on across the screen for everybody to see. Go out there and find us, our Auburn Blitz channel, and subscribe. Didn't cost anything, and you'll get alerts every time we're on. And Patrick said, any updates on the BRHS coaching search? We'll have some updates hopefully in a couple of weeks. I know they're going to be going through the interview process. They want to have somebody in place by the start of February. You know, over the holidays, it kind of made it tough, you know, with people being able to work their schedule. So I know they're going to be busy the next couple of weeks. And I would expect to have a coach named, Randy, by the first part of February.
Yeah, I think that it's important for the leadership that's in place to decide on who they want to take this program, hopefully, to the next level as we head on. You know, I don't think we've had a chance on this show to say how much I thought about Smitty Grider while he was there, Brett. I thought he did a tremendous job. I know that both parties came together at the end of this thing and said that maybe it's time to split. Don't know the exacts on both sides, but did want to take the chance to say that we really did enjoy working with Smitty, and
absolutely,
he's a tremendous football coach. So hopefully he lands on his feet somewhere and it works out. I bet it will, because Buddy, he knows his football, and he put a winning product out there for us. So the people that are in place, namely the superintendent and principal and the athletic director, they'll go out, and I've got a lot of confidence in those three and anybody else that they put on that committee to make the right choice. And it's going to be a fun time to be a Benjamin Russell fan with the new school starting up. Tip my hat to you and so many that are on the Board of Education for getting that thing to the finish line finally. So if there's ever a time to sell,
Lord, we talked about it for a long time
right now.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Coach Brooks, I tell you this all the time. There were drafts on his desk when I was in school to revamp the current high school in the current location that it's in, and that was in 95. So there were drawings 30 years ago for what is finally coming to fruition now, and they were needed 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
A lot of the facilities that we were dealing with back then in comparison to even what we see now. So it's an arms race, you like it or not. It's kind of like back to my quarterback mentioned to you, Brett. You can either spend the money or you don't, and you get what you deserve when you don't.
Randy, hang on for a couple minutes. We got to go out on TV and radio. Again, want to thank all of our TV, radio viewers and listeners. We'll be back with you next week for more of the Saturday Sports Countdown. We can stay on a
Creek
couple
Healthcare
minutes.
is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.
As the heat of summer fades and cooler temperatures come calling, we look forward to that feeling of fall. It's the perfect time to be outdoors with family and friends and a great time to be alive. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sutherland, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.